be suspicious. What are they doing? Only one that's going to be in office are those that are amenable and answerable to them. I can't get in office. You can't get in office. You have to be selected. They put you up and they take you down. If they lose control of you, you're out of there. So we don't want to have a head-on confrontation with them, because this piece of real estate is probably the most sacred piece of real estate in the world to those that are controlling the world. I remind you again of what President Kennedy said. If you don't believe it, he said in 1961-63 down in New York City, Waldorf Astoria Hotel, before the American Press Gathering Association, he says, state that there's a monolithic conspiracy to destroy America. So we're going back into the 60s. Well, it has not died. It still exists. The Bible calls that monolithic conspiracy to destroy America secretly is called the rulers of darkness of this world. It doesn't matter who has been in office, who has been the president for the last 100 years. It doesn't matter. Presidents of the United States do not make decisions. It is the policymakers that put them in office that make all of the decisions. As I've told everyone, when you think that President-elect Obama, they spent almost $800 million on his campaign. When someone spends $800 million on your campaign, they control you. It's all about control. No president, no vice president will ever be elected as a candidate unless it is total control by the powers that be, and money still rules the world. The Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. That's facts. You cannot refute it. And so based on that, the volatile times which we're living in now, I will say this. When President-elect Obama attacks Afghanistan, it is going to arouse and anger the world of Islam, and they are going to target America. Now, it's not going to be anything nuclear, but maybe something like the 9/11 Trade Center, something like that. But you can expect isolated attacks in America. If that does not occur, if the IMF, the Federal Reserve, continue to play with the economy, now businesses are going bankrupt, and it's going to get worse. To the point that the dollar, as I told you a month ago, $1 bill is worth 4 cents. That was before the bailout started. It was worth 4 cents. The more bailouts, it will devaluate the dollar to the dollar's worth 0. So that means you have $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in the bank and it's not worth anything. Well, they will make a deal with you. If you accept a new currency, which will be for the benefit of all, then instead of losing $10,000, your $10,000 would be $3,000. Well, common sense says a little bit of something is better than a whole lot of nothing. Always remember the old saying, a little bit of something is better than a whole lot of nothing. As I was telling them in Pakistan, and I said it on the broadcast today, you had better learn to make adjustments right now. No one is going to improve the economy or the affairs or the conflicts or the volatility in the world. No one. You know why? Because this is here. And watch for the key words. I'll tell you 3 key words to watch for. It means, one, when you keep hearing the word international, new world order, global or globalism, and not government, but governance, when you hear those words, that means those are the code words that we're getting closer. We're going to make the world capitulate. What they did in India. India is the largest democracy in the world. They attacked the financial district. They destabilized that region over in Asia by attacking it. I think it was 10 assaults at one time. Well planned, well orchestrated, well financed. Let me give you an illustration about how close we are to, or in the end. Not close to the end, but in the end. Let's take President Kennedy. He was assassinated. Well, poor people didn't assassinate him. Poor people could not orchestrate anything like that. It had to be the powers that be. You don't just assassinate a president of the United States. Then on top of that, his brother that was threatening to investigate his brother's assassination, Robert Kennedy, the Attorney General of America, he is assassinated. Then it gets a little worse. Now, let's look at Dr. Martin Luther King. He wasn't assassinated because of racism. It was because of what he knew. If you remember when he was walking in Selma and Alabama, and he didn't have all that entourage around, they could have easily killed him. He was going in the Klan territory. If they wanted to get rid of him, they could have easily got rid of him. But who got rid of him? The powers that be. They put you up and they take you down. If they lose control of you, you're out of there. And that's the whole story. Again, let me say this, and we're going to go into the Bible, let you know the times that we're living in. The drug epidemic, I've said for years, it will never get better. Doesn't matter what anyone does. Doesn't matter what the politicians say. As I told you, I can go in any place in America, a complete stranger. In less than a half an hour, I can buy any drug off of the street that I want to, and I'm a perfect stranger. And yet the law enforcement that lives in those neighborhoods cannot stop the flow of drugs. We had a situation here at our school. We called the police station. We told them the cars, they were luxury cars in back of the school. It's a federal offense to solicit and sell drugs near school property. I don't know how many times we called the police department. We called the public commissions director. We even told a policeman police officer that we knew, said, look, they're dealing drugs. Wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't mess with it. So it is by design not to stop because there's too much money involved. Anything where money is involved, it's not going to stop. They move from here to here to here. Now look, most of us, common sense, we can look at a car and realize that that person, or think or assume that that person that is driving that car can't afford to drive that car. That's common sense. Is that right? Isn't that common sense? We said, wait a minute. How is he or she driving that car? Well, the police officers see the same thing. Well, why? Because there are certain things you do not touch. You do not put your hands on. You don't mess with drugs. Too much money involved. Well, who's controlling it? The government. At one time, I remember when a guy by the name of Dick Gregory was talking about, I thought he was crazy. I thought he was crazy. Well, when you can, again, I'm going to tell you this, and we're going to go to the Bible now that I have your attention. By satellite, we know where all the drugs are grown, how they're packaged, how they come into America, and then all of a sudden, the satellites no longer work when they come into America. Well, that's control. We have said they come in through the airplanes. What airplanes? We know what airplanes they come in because it's about control and it's about destabilizing America. Now, America is ready to accept everything because they're scared of terrorists. They don't want any more terrorists here. And people are losing their monies. They're willing to compromise. A little bit of something is better than a whole lot of nothing. They're going to compromise. As I told you, September the 16th, I say expect the gas prices to go down instead of go up. They were predicting that the gas prices were going to go up. I said, no, it's going to go down. You know why? You don't have to be a genius. They needed to pacify the people, give them, as Brother John was talking about the Hegelian dialectic process. And I don't want to talk too much about it. What you do, you advance 5 steps. Do you take 3 steps back? You give them 5 steps of progress.